Okay, welcome to week one of a brand new self-reliance class presented by the Grounded Leader Academy. This class is called Finding a Better Job. And as many of you have been with me in our previous self-reliance class called Education for Better Work, this class will be structured in very much the same way. We'll have a weekly presentation which is delivered by me on Zoom like this. And then the real value that I can offer is my time one-on-one with you, which you can schedule with me on LinkedIn. It's completely free if you're enrolled in this self-reliance class. And then also, even if we can't meet one-on-one, synchronously, we can also communicate through email and LinkedIn messages and things like that. So please take advantage of that. We really only have so much time together in these weekly forums. The real impact will be in the one-on-one interactions that we have. But, similar to Education for Better Work, what I did is I took the curriculum found in the self-reliance classes offered by our church, and I found the principles that are most useful, most valuable for individuals who are career minded, people who are looking for remote work, people who are either, in Education for Better Work, a lot of people who maybe hadn't necessarily started their education, but were trying to figure out that next step. But this class, how it's a little bit different is that it's more focused on actually securing that job that you are trying to get or getting a better job. So we're going to step into a lot of different ideas. I'm going to draw upon a lot of my experience in both in my career field, but also in some of my more entrepreneurial pursuits, and share some thoughts and things like that I found. And I hope that you get a lot out of this class. With it being a brand new class, the only way that it improves is with your feedback. So please make sure that you're giving me feedback regularly throughout the class. I will solicit that occasionally from you through surveys, and so you'll see those come through in your email. Just be sure to give me your honest feedback, and that way I can improve. Because this is not the final form of this class. This is the first rendition of it. And so as I've committed a year to doing these self-reliance classes on LinkedIn, in a year from now, this class will be completely different. And it'll be in large thanks to your contributions and feedback to the class. So as I've stated all of that, we will go ahead and get started today with this week's presentation. So it's really important right now to take responsibility of your current situation. And with being so many people on this meeting, and so many people who will watch this recording, so many people in the future who take this class, I can't easily identify your current situation. However, I will be addressing two different situations that are going to be common for those of you who are in this class. The first person has a job, they're currently employed, they're looking for a better job, a job that either pays more, it fulfills them more, it's has more of a long-term outlook. And then the other person is going to be currently unemployed, and they may or may not have job experience. And I'm going to really be addressing both of those sides, both of those situations as we move through this class. But taking responsibility for your current situation, whether you have a job and you want to get a better job, or you don't have a job, you're trying to get a job, you need to take responsibility, and that's called taking ownership. And this week, owning your job is the title of this week's presentation. The reason I believe your job search needs to begin with taking ownership is because no one wants you to get a better job more than you do. Okay. It will require you to make extraordinary efforts to get a better job, and no one can do it for you. If you're currently employed, you need to take ownership of your current job. Be the best employee at work. Start going above and beyond, even if you don't feel like it, right? Because the aspects of your job that you currently don't like are opportunities for you to grow. The reason that it's so important to make this adjustment in your attitude is because we're trying to change your situation. And without changing our minds, changing our thinking, we cannot change our reality. Okay. So owning your job, this does two things. Like I said, it gives us an attitude adjustment. You need a better attitude before you get a better job. And number two, it's going to give you something to talk about during interviews in the next few months. You know, recruiters and hiring managers want to know what you've done at your previous jobs. If you just go into an interview and you talk about how you really didn't like your last job and you want a better job, it will only reflect poorly on you. It's not going to reflect poorly on your previous employer, or for that matter, your previous situation. If you don't currently have a job and you may have limited job experience, then you need to draw upon certain aspects of your life, taking ownership of those aspects, finding things to, accomplishments and things to talk about, things that you've done. And that way you have something to bring to the table. As many of you took the previous self-reliance class, as you know, people get hired for a reason, and companies, employers, and clients hire people who provide value. And so what is the value that you are going to provide and talk about providing in those interviews? And I do want to focus on this idea of, or this situation that you may not have a job right now. Well, it is now your job to get a job. And so while we talk about taking ownership of your current job, your job situation, if you, and this really goes for both of those who are currently employed and unemployed job seekers, finding a job can feel like a job in and of itself. So you need to get used to working all the time or feeling like you're working all the time. For example, you work during the day and then you come home, you're tired. Well, now it's time to work on your personal project, which is getting a better job. And so that takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. Your first priority, this is where I'm going to ask you to stay grounded. Your first priority needs to be taking care of yourself and your family. And remember, no one else wants you to get a better job more than you do. People who are not helping you build a better future for you and your family need to move down on your list of priorities. I don't want to get too much into this because, again, I don't know everyone's personal situation, but I do know that there are people possibly in your lives who, they always give you a reason why you should be, doing this or that. And if it doesn't align with your goals and with your desired future for yourself, your career, your life, your family's life, you need to start likewise shifting your mindset to block out some of their advice. You don't want to take advice from people who are not successful or people who are not where you would want to be. So that's something very important that I wanted to talk about. With that being said, in Education for Better Work, we talked about this poem by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken, and I want to revisit it. Many people look back on life and have regrets about, not taking action on certain ambitions. It's really important that you do take action and have zero regrets about the things within your control. And I'm telling you that you have 100% control over your career. There are many things in our lives that we simply don't have control over. Some health issues, right? You can't have 100% control over health and health outcomes. Tragedy and the situation perhaps of the economy, of government, things like that. You don't have 100% control. You may have very, very little control, but what you do have 100% control of is yourself, your attitude, and your career, because you can always gain the skills and gain the abilities to further and advance your career and, earn more money and take care of yourself and your family. And so when you do this, right, when you take this road less traveled, it is very hard. And that's what it's going to feel like, finding a better job or finding a job altogether. It's going to feel like this lonely road, a very difficult road. But and some of you have already experienced feelings of, anger, injustice, anxiety about your job search. And, I want you to trust me when I say you're on the right road. It may feel like, well, what am I doing? I'm walking this road. This is the toughest road I've ever walked. But you are on the right road. So this week's homework is going to include something that you may not expect. It's a phenomenal video, and I watched this video many years ago, and it has a man. Some of you may be familiar with him. He's Zig Ziglar, and he was a very famous motivational speaker, business man. I think, going on like 20, 30 years ago. And again, a very prolific motivational speaker. And the first step that we take is, this week, is taking ownership of your job, or finding a job your job if you're not currently employed. When you watch this video for the homework assignment, I want you to think about what you can do to make whatever job you get a better job. And I'd be willing to say that your effort you put into the job will make it a better job for you. With that being said, as you watch that video, if you are currently employed and your goal is to get a better job, think about the accomplishments that you've had, that you've made at your current job. Think about the things that you like about your job, and try and build a narrative, a new story for yourself and for that job, for your current situation. Taking ownership of your current situation, it also needs to be, finding the better scenario, the better outcome of that situation. So, and you'll have access to this homework assignment in that Google Drive folder that I mentioned, I believe, before we started recording. I'll be sending that out. I'll be sharing it directly with everyone via email. And so you should later today receive an email with, that I'm, Kevin Stanfill is sharing a Google Drive folder with you, and it's Finding a Better Job. That's the name of the folder. Make a copy of the document and then complete the activity, and then email it or share it back with me just for credit for this week's class. And then you'll be on the right track for the rest of the course. Very much a mindset activity this week. We'll start more practical exercises in the weeks to come. And that is our first week, our kickoff meeting for Finding a Better Job. This is our schedule laid out here. Obviously, every Saturday we'll come together for another class for the next 6 weeks. As everyone, I think, knows, the 6-week structure, group meetings every Saturday, homework for the week, and then taking advantage of time with me, either through LinkedIn messaging, email, or one-on-one calls. Okay. The 3 commitments for the next 6 weeks, many of you will recognize. This is the same as our previous class. The first thing is, don't sell yourself short and believe in yourself. And that will be incredibly important during this journey of finding a better job, because you are trying to move into a better situation for yourself and for your family. And so there will be opportunities, I guarantee you, opportunities that arise and come before you. And you need to choose those opportunities that will benefit you the most, not settle for something that is just better for the wrong reasons. And we'll get into some of those nuances. I ask that you honestly evaluate your efforts, and I ask that you honestly evaluate my efforts as your coach. And that is the end of our presentation this week.